From Dallas to Los Angeles and a screen near you, here is Bee Wildcat 2. Hey guys, it's Bee Wildcat 2 here.
And Culvers7.
And we've got for you today some info about the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One based off of what we know from E3 thus far. And we're just going to put some gameplay footage over this. I think he's going to have some Minecraft, and I'll probably put some random sports footage over it. But without further ado, let's get this baby started.
So, I'm not a very big console player myself, because I never really find the time for it. But if I had to lean towards one console, I'd probably say 360, though I do like them both. They have their good specs and their bad ones.
And I'm not a fanboy by far. I like both the 360 and the PS3. I own a PS3, but we also have a 360 that he'll use, or my other brothers will use sometimes. But they're not really big console players. They're more into the handheld gaming industry, actually. But I'm not a fanboy. I had a PS2 and I have a PS3 now, but that doesn't mean anything because I like both consoles. But I'm gonna be taking the Sony standpoint here, just since he's gonna go with the Microsoft standpoint. So we'll start off with talking a little bit about something that a lot of people were upset about, and well, maybe not so much upset after what we've learned from E3 thus far, but if you're gonna get the Xbox One, bro, you're not gonna be able to play used games.
That stings. I mean, that is really annoying. One of the best things to do is go to GameStop and then buy some really cheap game that somebody's used a bunch and it doesn't work that well, that you just want to try out, and then you only spent like 3 cents on it. But with the Xbox One, if you're gonna get it, that stops all that. Which, when we first heard about the PS4, there were a lot of rumors going around about that, and so I think Sony saved themselves when they didn't announce it. Even though I'm taking Xbox One, but I think I'd side with Sony on this one. We want to use used games.
Yeah, I definitely agree that Sony did the right thing by not forcing the issue of it's up to well, they came out and said that you play your used games on the PS4. They didn't say it's up to the developers, it's not up to the publishers. You can play used games on the PS4. Microsoft took the opposite route and locked you in, so once you buy a game, it's yours and you cannot do anything else with it. You can't make money off of it, you can't let a friend borrow it, and that's going to be bad. So I guess I'll let him take away with our next topic, so you go on ahead, man.
So the price for the Xbox is $500 starting off, and that's a lot. Sony's is $400. Maybe Xbox has to cost more because they're adding something new. Like with the Xbox, they announced that some of the specs they were deciding to add a Blu-ray player like Sony's PS4, and the PS3, and they were going to add the 500 gigabyte hard drive, unless you want to get like a bigger one if you can.
Well, with the addition of the Blu-ray player for the Xbox, this is like when the PS3 originally debuted at such a high price because they were first using the Blu-ray player. That's kind of what I have in mind, because when the PS3 first unveiled, they said they would have Blu-ray, and that's why their price was so high, and that's why 360 got a big jump in this last generation, in that quote-unquote war, if you will. But definitely, I think that Sony's looking to make up for it this generation with the lower of the prices, the things that gamers have been used to having for quite some time now, and obviously taking the opposite approach of what Microsoft's doing. But obviously for someone like me who's going off to college here in the fall, it will be great if I do end up getting enough money to get a PS4. I can save $100 to spend towards either a game, or maybe 1 or 2 games, or another controller for a friend to play. Maybe my little brother here could play the PS4 since if he wanted to, or I could get another, I could get a headset for the PS4. It's that extra $100 when you're in college, and like a lot of people in this generation, a lot of kids are they're the ones, not really much the adults, but the teenagers, the kids, the college students. They're the ones that are controlling this industry. That's why I think that Sony went out on a limb to appeal to them, saying, hey, you can save $100 by going with our console. And I think it's going to benefit Sony in the long run. What do you think, man?
Yeah, it's really going to benefit Sony a lot, but the reason the Xbox One is probably so high is because they said, at least from what I know, they're planning to add the new Kinect to add into it, and that's all you get to choose. You don't get to choose if you want to add it in, you don't get to choose if you don't want it. It sounds like either they're planning on making their generation games with Kinect, and they're going to add the option and add lots of features with Kinect, at least the new one. And it leads me to a bunch of different topics, like they may want it because they said that they want to use the Kinect to integrate different things like TV, new types of games, and features like Skype with the new improved Kinect, which is supposed to have better audio quality and things of that nature. But in my opinion, if they hadn't have added the Kinect to it, they probably could have saved their hides, because the Kinect costs a lot, and if they took that out of there, then they probably would be having, they would probably have a lead on the price.
If
50
not,
some odd.
Maybe at least about maybe
at least tied with them.
Yeah, at least the same price. So, but the thing is, like, the reason, you know, not the casual gamer is not gonna want Kinect, and if they do, then that's what the Nintendo Wii is for. You know, honestly, if you want to,
Nintendo is dead.
If you not, this is coming from a handheld gamer, guys, that he says Nintendo is dead.
I don't really like the Wii, but this is often a different topic. But Nintendo just, you know, is ruling the handheld industry, and that's what they should focus on, because that's what they're good at. I mean, there's the PSP, and there was, you know, the
PlayStation Vita, yeah.
But those aren't nearly as good as the DS, the 3DS, at least profit-wise. I mean, I can think of 50 people that I know that have, you know, DS/3DS. I mean, teenagers. I mean, they're easy to carry around and stuff, but I can't think of anyone who has a PSP or a Vita.
The thing about the Vita is it's been out for just about a year, and you think, how long has the Nintendo DS been out? Since at least the like mid 2000s, and then the 3DS came out 2 years ago, I believe, at Christmas time around that 2011, I think.
Before that.
Before that. So they obviously had a boost on their sales, and we all know Microsoft's not gonna go in the route of handheld gaming. That's not for them. And
if they do, it's not going to benefit them in any way, because it won't work.
And when you think of Nintendo, you think about the great games and the characters and things, but you also think about, when you think about the handheld gaming, I mean, the Game Boy, the Game Boy, and then now the DS's, and so Nintendo's been on the lead in the handheld. Handheld gaming though, really. But anyway, so getting back into the topic we were actually discussing, the PS4 will be able, or you will not have to be always online with the PlayStation 4, and if you don't check in within 24 hours of playing a game online, Sony's not gonna come for your blood and your firstborn child, if you would put it like that. Like, there will be no penalties or anything for not checking in online. You don't have to go and log into your PlayStation Network just to be able to play something like Sonic All-Star Racing offline. You know, they are allowing you to play the single player offline still, so and
that's something that Microsoft is, you know, leading to their downfall, digging their own grave for. If you have to always be online, nobody's gonna want to buy them if they have a bad internet connection, or they don't want to get that penalty for not being on. Like, maybe they only play like once every week. I mean, those people who are online a lot, and, you know, they're gonna play a lot, then that's a benefit for them, because, you know, they're gonna be like, oh, well, guess what, now I have to, so I don't get that penalty, so I get more time and I get to check in. But for those who don't, it's going to penalize them even more, and it's going to take away the customers that were with Microsoft and take them probably to Sony.
And you think about it like this: if this is not the end for Microsoft, if they even get past this generation while still on their one good remaining leg, you think about next generation. Well, they're going to want to pull the servers from the Xbox One generation, and then if anybody has an Xbox One, they're not going to be able to play those games because the Xbox One servers are not going to be online anymore because everybody's going to have moved on to the next generation. So it's kind of like, if you do end up going to another generation, you're shooting yourselves in the foot for those that want to keep their old games. You know, like, I'm the kind of person where, I mean, I've still got my PS2, I've still got a bunch of PS2 games, and I'll probably hold on to my PS3 and my PS3 games only because I know that there's not going to be backwards compatibility on the new consoles. And when you do that, there's a lot of people that do that as well. So if you're one of the ones that keeps the Xbox One for backwards compatibility with those games, then how are they supposed to play those games?
And the thing is, some of those old games aren't going to have an online version, so if there is a game you want to play, like maybe you want to play, you know, let's say Sonic All-Stars Racing, and let's say, you know, they brought it out for Microsoft for some reason because they felt bad, and they were like, okay, so here's a game because we feel bad for you. But if you're going to use that old game and it's going to be backwards compatible, if it doesn't have an online mode, you're not going to be able to play it because you have to be online all the time, and if you're not going to be online, then, you know, you're going to get the penalty if you're going to be playing it for a long time. So even if, you know, the Xbox One has backwards compatibility, which it probably will.
I believe that I've heard that neither the PS4 nor the Xbox One will be backwards compatible. So for those of you that are thinking about trading in your 360 and your games for that, if you want to still play your Xbox and your Xbox 360 games, better hang on to that Xbox because you probably will not be able to play it next generation. And that's the sad thing. We want to be able to play all these games that we played as a childhood, and we hope that the next generation will allow us to do that, and it's not. So I just wanted to say before we end this video that I believe that Sony is going to end up winning this generation, even though Sony is going to be released about a month after Microsoft's Xbox One is going to be released. I think I heard the end of November for Microsoft, like right after Thanksgiving. I think it's coming out the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, if I remember right. And Sony, they're not supposed to be releasing the PS4 until New Year's Eve. But like I said, we don't know too much information. Those dates have not been confirmed by either company. But like I said, I thank my brother Culvers7 for coming on here and doing this commentary with me. I had a fun time doing it, and hopefully if you want more, we can do more collaboration work in the future. You want to say goodbye, bro?
Okay, bye.
Well, we'll work on it. So thanks for watching, guys. It's Bee Wildcat 2, and for Culvers7, I'm signing out. Have a good one. Bye.